guys, my name's Alex and this is my first adventure vlog. My first outing into the vlogging world. So I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. I've loved getting out there and exploring with my camera gear for a long time now, shooting cities and landscapes, but I just wanted to start being a bit more creative with it and using my skill set better. So here I am. Moving on to the day's activity. I'm up super early by my standards in order to beat the weather, but I do have a hike and some cave exploration planned and I'll be telling you more about that shortly. First of all, I need to throw my gear into my bag and get on the road. So I'll see you out there. Time to go. For my first vlog, I wanted a short climb with a great payoff. So I opted for Castle Crag. I'd climbed it once before with family, and I knew it offered outstanding vistas of the Borrowdale Valley. It would only be a short hike. In fact, this hill is the smallest and the only sub 1,000 feet summit of Alfwood Wainwright's 214, coming in at 950 feet or 290 metres. My aim was to showcase the summit views in sunlight, but with the sunsets going by 2 PM, it was imperative that I reach the summit in time. So I was on the road for 6:30 AM and I headed to the village of Grange, where I hoped to get a good parking spot at the start of my route. Considering I had a 2-hour drive and a whole lot of shooting to do before the summit, the race was on. Having done some research, I've discovered there are some caves at the base of the crag which I didn't know about. And these caves were once the home of an adventurer called Millican Dalton. He lived there for the best part of 50 years. During the summer months of the year, I think, but I'm quite interested to see where he lived and just try and visualise what it must have been like just to live there out in the wild in the early 1900s, I guess. So yeah, that'll be an exciting bit today and hopefully a little bit of cave exploration, and I'm looking forward to it. So I've arrived, I'm here at Grange, I got parked okay, the weather's dry, there is a little bit of sun and blue sky about, but there's also a lot of grey clouds, so I'm hoping that improves. I've got a few roads to follow before I actually reach the trailhead, but it won't be long before I'm on the trails. So here's a little more detail on today's route. Park by the bridge at Grange Methodist Church, make an optional donation in the box on the wall, and a short walk through the village later, you make a left after the cafe and follow the Hollows farm lane south towards Daltwood. It's a gentle road walk, passes a couple of campsites, but the trail really begins at a gate on the westerly bend in the road. You follow a stony path down towards the River Derwent. Here the river bends sharply to the east, but you continue on up a rocky path until you meet a fork. Here you take a right and follow the gradually ascending Gold Road up through Daltwood to the west of the crag. Continuing over a footbridge and through a clearing brings you through a gate as you leave Daltwood behind and ascend the rocky road up Broad Slack Gill to a col at the foot of Castle Crag. Here the gradient significantly increases and the main ascent begins. As you take the left path towards and up the side of the crag, you ascend to a stile. Evidence of quarrying here is abundant and you soon find yourself at the foot of a great spoil heap. Here a zigzagging footpath has been formed in recent years. Ascending that spoil heap brings you onto a landing just below the summit, where there's further evidence of quarrying and outstanding views over the South Borrowdale Valley. Then it's just a short but tricky climb through an outcrop of trees until you reach the summit. All set, it's time to go. much marks the start of our trail today. I've been following the roads and the bridleway for a little while there, past a couple of campsites, and now we're officially going off-road. So you can see down in the background here, you've got the Derwent flowing through the scene. We're going to go alongside it for a little bit, and then I think the path starts to ascend. We're looking at about 700 feet of ascent today, so quite an easy one, but still, the payoff will be good. I'm going to see the view from the top. About halfway up the trail now. Above my head here you can see the summit. That is Castle Crag, and it's looking very beautiful with all the forest around it. The trail in general is a nice one. Anyway, you can see where I'll be heading next, just up this way behind me, and it's quite rocky but easily manageable for, I'd say, even lower fitness levels. I'm not the fittest at the moment either, but I'm managing it just fine, and there's been all sorts of people doing this route as well. It's quite a popular one. So I'll be heading up there, and then it's going to get to a bit of a col, and then I'm going to veer off left and get up there. But yeah, lovely route so far. I've got a little drone flight in just down the way, and I'm enjoying myself. Having walked up Broadslack Gill, I'd arrived at the col at the foot of Castle Crag. You can see here the gradual gradient of the path until this point, but now it was time to do some sweating as the incline became a little more serious. But just look how picturesque it is. It's no wonder that Wainwright referred to this area as the loveliest square mile in all of Lakeland. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my just motivations for hiking in general. A lot of people do it for the fresh air, the scenery, the escapism, the exercise. I mean, I like all of those things too, but for me as a photographer, a landscape photographer predominantly, I just want to get up high and put myself in scenarios where I'm going to get some good photos, which I then love to edit and all that kind of stuff. So the actual hiking part of it is more of a means to an end, to be honest. This is a beautiful walk. Highly recommend it. I'm about halfway up the steep slope I showed you a couple of minutes ago now, and I'm getting there in my own time, and I guess that's why I like being out on my own. I'm not holding anybody up. I can just take my time. I can take a photo here, I can put the drone in the air, I can do what I please really. And this right here is the path up, but this is what Wainwright refers to as the spoil heap. Great scenes from up here. There's this really interesting bit here. It was here last time. I remember it from last time I climbed this peak. These stones that have been stood upright. I'm not sure who's done it or why or what it signifies. Please enlighten me if you know. That is the summit in the background there. We'll be up there shortly. We're just below the summit here. You're about to find out why I brought you up here today. Get ready for an insane view. Let's do it. Look at this, guys. Insane view. What did I tell you? Absolutely unreal. Derwent water. And what's more unreal is that I've got this whole summit to myself. Look at this. You can see my bag out there, but nobody here. It's been so busy for like the last hour. People coming up and down, kids running around. And now, probably quite a rare moment on a sunny day like this. Castle Crag summit all to myself. And I'm going to take advantage of it. Come on. The summit of Castle Crag, punctuated by quite a large rock with the cairn on top of it. And then here we have the memorial for all the men of Borrowdale who died in World War I. What a place to come and just pay your respects amongst scenery like this. Grange fell over there, and I'll tell you about a few of the other fells surrounding us. Looking to the north across Derwent Water, you have Skiddaw at 3,050 feet, England's 6th highest peak. Just to its right you have Skiddaw Little Man, and then further along to the right you have Lonscale Fell. And just below that you'll be able to see the little summit of Trig at 1,200 feet above Keswick. Looking south you have Rothwaite Fell in the middle foreground, with high rays on the horizon leading round to Glaramara, Great End visible, and leading through to the Scar Fells and Great Gable, which are just out of sight. I was briefly joined by some people there, but I'm back on my own again now. It was bound to happen. But I enjoy it while it lasts, and I'm pretty much ready for heading back down the mountain myself now. I'm going to go back down the way I came and make a detour off to go and visit the caves once occupied by Millican Dalton the adventurer. I'll tell you a bit more about him in a little bit, but I'm going to let you have one last look at this amazing view. And you can see why an ancient fort was once up here, because it's such a commanding view of the valley, just blocking the Borrowdale Valley off like this. And it goes to show you don't have to climb the highest mountains to get the best views. Even 951 feet of Castle Crag gets you one of the best views in the Lake District, arguably. So this is the path that leads to the caves of one Millican Dalton. He called it his cave hotel. So whilst we're on the trail to the caves that I've been talking about, I thought I'd give you a little bit on the background of Millican Dalton. And most of my research has come from a couple of web sources and Countryfile, who featured him in both their website and on their show. I have read up a little bit on him, and he's got quite an interesting story. He was born up in Alston, which isn't too far from here. Funnily enough, I studied the river when I was doing my geography degree at the University of Salford. We did a case study on the River Nent that runs through Alston. So yeah, I'm familiar with that part of the country. But yeah, he later moved down to Buckinghamshire, I think, or even London, where he basically had a 9-to-5 office job. I think he worked in insurance or something like that until about the age of 36, and then he decided, you know what, I'm going to move to Borrowdale and live in a cave for 47 years. And that's pretty much what he did. During the winter he would move back to a wooden shack that he had down in Buckinghamshire, almost like a bird migrating south for the winter. But during the summer he was up here. He lived a pretty simple life. He made his own clothes and he made his own canvases for his tents, and later moved into the cave. Whilst he was up here, he was quite socially engaging apparently. You'd expect him to be a social recluse, but apparently he wasn't. He had his weakness of going to the shop once a week for a coffee, and everyone's got their vices, right? He earned a little bit of money working as a mountain guide. sort of an adventure tour guide in the Lake District. So, you know, I guess he got by a little bit, but he made his own clothes. Must have cooked his own food. I don't know if he hunted. My research hasn't taken me that far. I apologise. But anyway, I just think it's a really interesting story. And somewhere around here, I should be turning off to go and see his caves. But yeah, just to finish off on Millican Dalton. He unfortunately died of pneumonia. I think one winter his shack burnt down. Tragically, and it forced him into his tent in the winter, and he got pneumonia and later died. So quite a tragic end, but quite a fascinating story, just to up sticks and leave like that, to just live the simplest of lives. This could be it. Up this path. I'm going to take it. Whew. Well, that was steep. Back up high again. It's a long way down. And I do believe I have found the cave hotel. There it is. Let's go investigate. I feel like I'm going to have a real Lara Croft moment here. I've just been inside and it's quite big. Head torch ready? Here we go. Come on. So I've taken the head torch off now. It was useful for finding the inscription I was looking for, but other than that, I don't think I really need it. But I am going to give you guys a little tour and just give you a bit of a feel of the place. So just heading in through the main entrance to the cave here. Now, straight away you can tell people have had campfires here because it smells kind of smoky. Inside there's a real kind of, yeah, like things have been burned. But I guess it's no surprise. People just kind of come in and use this kind of place now. But it's definitely a good shelter. So if you lived here for so long, at least he was protected from the elements, but I can kind of understand how he also caught pneumonia in his tent as well. So, you know, what do you want? So heading into the main cavern now. Still tough to see, but we have the fire pit. Nice little campfire spot. Probably quite well used. And a good little outlook from the cave. Look at that. Oh, that's the shot. And from this main cavern, you've then got two different ways up to the top You can go the outdoors way, which is this track here, or you can go up this rocky slope. I've just climbed up into the upper chamber of the cave, and this is it. And this is where Millican Dalton supposedly inscribed his epitaph. Now, I have found it took some finding, because so many idiots have already inscribed their own names and scribbled all over the walls, which is a shame. Yep, I'm calling you out. If you've written on the walls in this cave and you're watching this video, you are in fact an idiot. Evidence of other people sleeping here. It's quite flattened down, the earth over here. Listen to me, I sound like a tracker, a mountain guide. I'm not, but maybe I should be. And then over here in the entrance is where you find the epitaph. And it reads, "Don't waste words. Jump to conclusions." It's hard to read through the camera, I think. So many different colours. And the way this has just been quarried out. It's cool. So that concludes my tour of Millican Dalton's Cave Hotel. So I hope you enjoyed it, found it informative, maybe feel inspired to visit. Bear in mind, there's a very, very steep climb to get up here. It's not very far, it's only about 100 metres up, but it's like that. It took it out of me getting up there. So yeah, definitely worth a visit if you're interested, especially if you're going to do the crag that I've just done today. Combine it with this and enjoy. Turns out he had a pretty kick-ass view from his balcony right here. Check this out. What a view over Grange Fell and the surrounding forest. So you've seen me climb Castle Crag, you've seen me explore some caves, and now what I want to do is just to recap and just let you know who I think today's excursion's suitable for. And the answer is most people, to be honest. I've seen people up there. I saw an old man with a cane on the summit. I saw kids that must have been about 5 or 6 years old, elderly people, people who didn't look the fittest, people who really did look fit, fell runners, dog walkers, all kinds of people were up there today. And yeah, it's steep in places, and I was out of breath getting up there at times, but you can take your time because it's not actually that far. So just do a few steps at a time if you have to. You'll get there, and the payoff, like you've seen, is amazing. So it's a small price to pay for one of the best views in the Lake District, and I'd recommend anyone to go there. As far as the caves go, it's a gentle walk to the bottom, but then probably the steepest climb of the day was getting up an almost vertical path. It is a path, but it is steep to get to the cave, and that really took it out of my legs, which is starting to tire anyway now because it's the end of the day. But yeah, interesting. And ahead here I think I have some swimmers. Fancy a dip in the stream myself. So it turns out it was 2 swimmers.
and they decided to nip in the dough, went for a dip. Fair play. They invited me in actually, but I didn't want to be that guy that jumps in the river with two naked strangers. Bit of a third wheel scenario, so I left it. But I am going to go in here, I think, right after I finish filming this for you. But I just wanted to say, if you have stuck with me all this time to the end of the video, thank you, and I hope you'll subscribe, like, comment, as you wish. I do have more adventures planned. I do intend to get better at doing this, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to put some great content out in the future if you stick around. So I really appreciate you watching. A lot of hard work will have gone into this video by the time you're watching it. So until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you out there.